0 Mandel bricks, okay? So RVG, LSP, both of those teams from semifinals A were able to both acquire 1 Mandel brick, and honestly, RVG Dark
to be seeing a Mandel brick round on both Brackish and Zero Dam, which is exciting.
Yeah.
It drops by 30 seconds, changes things up a lot. However, the minimum on a reset is 2.5 minutes. That means if somebody's decoding and it gets to 30 seconds left on the clock and it gets stolen, guess what? It goes to 2.5 minutes. So there's a lot of times in the semifinals, we're going to watch out for it today as well, where a brick will get stolen just to prevent a team from decoding that Mandel brick before they can get out of the map. Because that's the thing. Game timer, Mandel brick timer, lots of conversation, lots of thoughts. But it's time to get into the very first game of the day. If you've got questions, feel free to ask them. We're on quite a bit of a delay, but I will still answer them as we go. As we take a quick look at our first team here, this is going to be Overgear on screen. And Tiff, I'm so pumped about Zero Dam. It's good to be back.
It really is, and I love that you were able to break everything down regarding the intricacies of our Mandel bricks. But as a friendly reminder, while our teams are starting to kind of get their bearings straight and where they're going to be spawning in on Zero Dam, no Mandel brick here, okay? They will have an airdrop in the maps that do not have a Mandel brick, so keep your tabs on that. You won't see it occur for at least 6 minutes into the first map here.
Yeah, good shout. Now, already it looks like some bit of action on the other side of the map. Zap taking down, it looks like a Nooksy, and I think that's actually a full wipe off screen. We just got into the map, and all of a sudden, people were fighting immediately on the other side. Looks like Zap and Co. have picked up a initial team wipe and are going to quickly get some kills, and that's probably also going to be over there on the right-hand side. That looks like it's going to be in the admin side of things. So as we watch Overgear get into the mix here around Cement Plant, looks like admin was active, Saeed taken down, and Zap and Co. Good to go.
Kind of unfortunate there, but as we kind of peruse through Les Gironds on your screen, mind you guys, Season 1 Delta Force Global League for Europe Operations winners, but we changed the format. They struggled through the semifinals. They got in 3rd place and now are here to play. Of course, you've got that Luna, you've got that Stinger, you have the Byron. But the cool part about this is, Goes, you were talking in the semifinals that the operators that went the quickest were Stinger and Luna. And so far, we're seeing kind of how people are going to be utilizing them. It's like, do you burn the favorite picks right off the rip? Because we know how valuable detection arrows can be.
Yeah, it is a really good question. And I think as we get into the nuance of this, again, you can take a look at the right-hand side of your screen. Les Durance is at 2.1 mil from this match, by the way, already. So they've picked up the loot from their opponents. They had a decent amount of sizable good loot. And they've picked up whatever loot they found on Saeed, I believe, in some of these chests here. So good job for them to take over admin. But I think the operator question is a good one. As we take a quick look at the map, I think some of these teams are going to be prioritizing whatever is best for the map they're on, 1, and then 2, if it's a Mandel brick round. They really need to make sure that on the Mandel brick rounds, they've got a good operator choice to be able to play defensive for some of this decode. But a look at the map, it looks like Madre and Les Durance is about to engage, and that's the vision here that Les Durance had. We saw them, Madre obviously in purple. It looks like Odd spotted them from a distance, maybe with that recon arrow, and has been peeking that corner and holding it. It might be a stalemate for a little while as we've just gotten into this game.
Hey, but I'm okay with that, because if you think about it, they already took out RVG, which is your top squad from semifinals A. And if they're going to take down Madre here, the top team from semifinals B, you really run the risk of kind of just getting out to a good start, jumping ahead of them. Although no Mandel bricks this round, but maybe you want to get your loot value up so that you can kind of go into the later rounds heavily equipped.
A good shout. Again, that leaderboard's going to live update on the right-hand side. So if you see names jumping around, it's because they're gathering up some loot. Looks like maybe LSP found a decent loot on them, but right now, again, these players aren't bringing in crazy kits comparatively, right? So if you're seeing, oh, this is only a purple weapon or something like that, it's because they only had 1 million to start with. A nuanced format where it's risky to bring in 1 million Technic Alloy worth of gear, because if you lose it, all you get is a little bit of some match compensation to make sure you have something to work with next round, but it's going to be maybe blue ammo for you. We'll see. Madre taking it slow as well. I mean, Tiff, this is par for the course. So I'm waiting kind of on, honestly, waiting to see who makes the first mistake.
Ooh, I don't like saying mistakes, right? We do already have one team out, so maybe slight mistake there, but back on board, just kind of with that information gathering. I love that we're being conservative in this initial round. We have that litmus test of what we're going to potentially be seeing. Of course, you can see Madre across the doorway and down the hall there, which is fine, right? We get that information, they don't, which is why they're constantly using their recon operators, playing off the audio cues and seeing what we can do to attack them. Now, we've got the Nox on the other side for Madre, which I think is brilliant, right? We saw him get introduced not just before Tempest, and how great his kit is for those stealthy flanks. So I think it's really keen to keep an eye on potential pushes for that, but they're not going to know they have Nox unless they're using and watching the prior semifinals of what Madre and information they can gather.
Yeah, good call. Everybody will be able to see afterwards what people used, but during, you have to catch a glimpse of some of these operators to know. And right now, again, this is going to be a slow play. I think one of the things that we expected to see was, especially early in this map, a slower gameplay loop. But I think what probably happened to RVG is that they just sprinted for admin, which is, hey, we can all relate to that. I know you all in the chat do the same. And L'Esperance just caught them unaware. It was so quick, we didn't even get there in time. You can see down below Madre, by the way, in the tunnels, it looks like Project Lane is nearby, but they're not going to get active necessarily. They hear the footsteps. They know there's people above them. They know where these players are, and it looks like actually L'Esperance found an angle, was able to knock one. This could be a signal flare to make a push here, especially with a Viren. They're going to be able to move pretty quickly. Zap might be taking lead here with Viren is what I would expect, Tiff. Maybe throw a couple magnetic bombs in there, try to find the angle. They're going to try to go for this res, but he's actually in a bad spot. I'm not sure what happened on the Madre side. I don't know if he's going to be able to get revived.
Yeah, this is wild because you've got the smoke grenade, you've got the frag from Luna, you've got all of the things here to keep that pressure on. You can even throw down damage. You grab a knock, you look for the full, and quite frankly, see what they've got, because you're going to claim some more gear for yourselves and deny that from other people.
L'Esperance picking up one here is huge. Looks like Madre's traded one back. A nice hold by Nemerith here. This is going to at least give them a moment to breathe and try to make a play and a little maybe outplay here. Viren sneak around the corner. They're going to hear this for sure. But throwing down the knockdown could be helpful. Doesn't connect, so he's going to back off. Could have been a dynamic move, but Nemerith gets cut down, holding the off angle, and now all of a sudden, Linux, who was trying to make a hero play, is now slightly out of position, trying to swing around for the revive. And L'Esperance is going to do the same thing. So they are going to both get their revives. Almost hero play from Linux. That would have been gross.
Yeah, I'm saying, look, if you're going to hit that dynamic propulsion, but no! Oh, watch out, Zap. Zap is coming in. We don't get the res off, and Lennox just has to try and hold on.
This is a genius play from L'Esperance.
Oh.
Just trying to pressure this. He doesn't even actually want the fight. He's pressuring to make sure he doesn't get the revive. And now that they're all three stacked, he can play for it. Gets one, gets two, getting it all three. Getting it all three. He runs out of ammo, swings around the corner, eventually gets traded out. Holy cow. Linux, you were almost a hero once, and a second time, you truly were a hero, trading almost all three. If he just had a bit more ammo in that clip, or maybe hit a couple headshots, he wins a 1v3 holding that angle. Genius. But guess what? We're just now getting into the mix. I told you Project Lane was nearby. They were in the tunnels, and they were going to get involved if something happened. They heard a lot of shots, and now all of a sudden, Project Lane pressuring L'Esperance. L'Esperance about to start with a massive map if they can get out of here and stay alive against Project Lane, Tiff.
Keyword, if they can get out. You do see we've got a little bit of a regain here on the other side of things, but I'm thinking of Lennox still, right? Would there have been the magnetic bomb available to try and break up some of that 1v3? But even at 2 HP and a reload, it almost came through. But I'm loving what I'm seeing out of Project Lane, kind of biding their time, getting stuff together for that initial push. But Nox, Odd, and then you have Zap out there dealing with some of the AI on the screen, and that's fine, right? Especially around this building, because if you don't take them down, you could run the risk of just taking a couple rogue bullets from them, and they can really be a deterrence in your fights.
Yeah, right now, L'Esperance on their back foot a little bit, trying to figure out where do we go from here. I think the key, and nice find, gold helmet, that'll do. But I think the key thing for L'Esperance right now is just trying to get some information on Project Lane. This is something we talk about all the time. Like, obviously, information in operations is everything. Information is power. And it's pretty obvious they don't exactly know what part of the map Project Lane's at. Project Lane's also not trying to give up their position. You can see Madre Mia fully wiped after that fight. RVG fully wiped after that fight. And that means all they're going to get is whatever's in their safe box, which looks like maybe 68k for Madre Mia. Ooh. And then 350k per player to resupply with, which for those that don't play Operation sounds like a lot. We know most of the guns people bring in are about that cost, so it's not a crazy amount. Really punishing if you do get cut down here.
It's going to be tough, right? Especially when you go into a Mandelbrick round. That's going to be your win condition for our series here today in Europe Operations. So make sure. But as we look at the map here, you do have LSP just down there south of Major Substation. You kind of have one out on that rotation. They're sitting on the extract, though. So curious to see if they're just going to say, hey, we looted. We're fine with what we've got. We know there's no Mandelbrick here, and we're setting ourselves up for basic to kind of push through that. But Project Lane, they're still in that picture-in-picture. Cool, calm, collected, because there's going to be a bit of a heated battle here. I don't imagine they're going to want to walk away from this.
Yeah, and I think, again, you can see Overgear, they're just getting out of here. And I don't hate this. They've got 2.2 mil, which means they got to have found something pretty good, because we really didn't see them in an engagement at all. Obviously, L'Esperance taking down the 2 teams that were eliminated. So they looted up 2.2 mil and said they were happy with that, and they're getting out of this map. So Overgear out. They've all extracted. Madre Mia, RVG full dead. Pay attention. Again, we feel like we just got started. We've got an angle here. Unfortunately, doesn't connect on many of those shots. SMG from distance bounces just a hair too much. Pay attention to that clock on the left-hand side, folks. We're already at less than 5 minutes remaining to get out of this map. You might have had a good map. You might have found some kills, and you'll get a little bit of rewards from that. Both of these teams really want to get out of this map, as LSP has looted up TIFF and found 3.3 mil.
Huge. Look, I'll take all that if you can, especially if you're going to go in geared up. But you can see another extraction point is going to come through and be active now. But still, keeping tabs on Project Lane. Look, they're going to burn not only a Vyron, but a D-Wolf and a Nox operator. You only get to use them twice throughout the entire tournament. And if you feel comfortable with making sure that those picks go out first, sure.
Yeah, and I think everybody really wanted to start off with like a good map, but knowing this isn't a Mandelbrick round, I don't know that I would burn a Stinger this early. Well, I don't know. There's a lot of nuance to it. We can talk a little bit more about that during the break, because this is going to be a battle for this extraction. The dam lever was pulled. The dam extraction is really the only option for this team that we know of right now. I'd love to get a quick glance at the map if the fight isn't going crazy, to see if we can take a look at some other extraction points. I know there is no backpack extract, a weight limit extract, but I think this team might have to play for this dam extract versus Project Lane. It's risky, though. L'Esperance has everything in their inventories, and Project Lane's going to get out with a little bit less than 1 million. So if giving away this dam extract means that Project Lane gets out, not a big deal for L'Esperance. It's really a question if L'Esperance can find somewhere else to extract from, and I think they're deciding we got to get into the mix.
Yeah, you really have to be cautious here, especially when you have 3 minutes left on the map. It doesn't matter how much work that you've put into this if you can't take it out. Sure, you're going to get some Technic Alloy for the amount of kills that you have, which is 6. A ton of value there. But keep tabs on where we're looking. See that countdown. It's going to happen. But LSP, honestly, are they going to make a rotate and everyone is going to culminate around the extract?
1000%. I mean, everybody's looking, how do we get out of this map in the next 2 minutes? The only thing active, the dam extract in 2 minutes, is going to end right before our in-game timer. I think there's about a 20-second spread between these 2 clocks. This is going to be a fight for the dam extract. How many of you all have been here on Zero Dam fighting for this extract? I know I have many, many times. I don't hate this position. Something we've seen often with this dam extract is having one person kind of on the flank inside, held up on boxes. But it sounds like Terry's gotten a bit of information that maybe LSP's also in the area. We've got 3 teams fighting over the dam extract that leaves in 1.5 minutes. Talk about utter chaos. Look at where Bibic is, though. Project Lane's got that one on the flank up in those crates. Could be a huge play from him if he's extremely patient. Got to pay attention to this clock, though. He might not have the loot value that this team has. He might not be worried about getting out, Tiff.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, if we're going to be using our Crouching Tiger at this point and see if it connects, that'll give you information and maybe a moment for you to kind of dynamic propulsion straight into there and make a play, but keep tabs on it. You can see right now we're already losing health and one down, but we get a trade. Can we keep going through? Project Lane, though. Terry, okay, I love that energy out of you.
Yeah, this is utter chaos on the other side, and it's Bibic finally coming in for the flank. Trying to play cleanup of L'Esperance, just keeping his team alive. 45 seconds, and Nox is the only player left on Stinger alive for this Project Lane team. Gonna get into the mix. L'Esperance is out of here. Project Lane wins the gunfight, wins the fight, wins the map as well, and gonna get out of this map as long as they don't waste too much time looting. A little bit of chaos there in that final fight, but it was a perfect execution from Bibic. I love this Project Lane play to say, listen, stay outside. I don't even care if you end up not getting to the extraction point in time. Stay outside and be our cleanup man. And that's exactly what happened. A perfect execution. LSP and L'Esperance both fought each other first. They end up at least getting a couple of those bodies weeks. And so it's pretty easy cleanup for Project Lane to get the overall win. And they're going to get everybody else hasn't been used yet. So, but overall 7.5 mil for Project Lane tip. Looking pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant, right? But you can already see they're going to go ahead. They expend a D-Wolf, a Viren, and a Nox. So you've burned that. You can use them each one more time. So keep tabs on that. Obviously, you have a lot of Virens, a couple Noxes across the board, which it's quite interesting, right? Because most people really do want to preserve their recon operators for those heavy-hitting rounds. Of course, we did expend...
Down to the player with the most kills. I think I know which team they're going to be on, and yeah, that's what I thought. We've got Zap at the top by a sizable margin. 5 kills from game 1, Tiff, which means they're going to be your round 1 MVP. L'Esperance really was doing the most on the map. An overall amount of 8 kills when there's only 6 teams on the map is crazy. Unfortunately, they just weren't able to do everything that they wanted, like get out of the map, but overall still a good one. And because of that, Zap is on top for game 1 and has earned 1 round MVP. And again, the player with the most round MVPs at the end of the tournament will be your overall MVP, which is worth $1,000. That's a great payday.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge, and I love that, right? I was talking about their 6 kills they had going into that last fight. The fact that they still picked up 2 fulls before being eliminated out of map number 1 is